to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
Big fan. We are big fans of a lot of stuff that's going on today.
Yeah, and we're also not big fans of other things that are going on too.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll get to that here in, a couple of segments. We're going to talk All-Star because the skills competition happened yesterday. As of recording this, we're like 3 hours away from the actual game. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be posted post All-Star game, obviously.
Yeah.
We got a couple games to quick recap. Some Kepis.
Yeah.
A town hall that wasn't very fun. And a few other things.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with Kepis. I think, did I go first last time?
You did.
Okay. Actually, I want to start with this story. So my walk home from work was brutal yesterday.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we went through this whole blizzard here in Ohio, which really wasn't too bad, but it was still just like, ew.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I got off of work, the only things that were cleared off were like parking lots and then maybe not even certain entryways.
Yeah.
So like there was no sidewalks. I had to walk on the side of the fucking highway.
Oh my God, that's brutal.
It was just like ankle. Okay, I know our Canadian friends are going to be like, oh, boo-hoo, but like, come on, ankle deep snow with like no sidewalks for like even just a little bit of time is just not fun.
No, it's never fun.
Cut me some slack here, especially having to walk along the highway.
No, that's brutal. I'm very sorry you had to go through that.
It's like, ugh.
Right.
Yeah, Kepis.
Kepis is easy. 2 games in the last, since we did the last podcast. One was the 6-3 win over Montreal. The other was the 8-4 loss to the Panthers. Good Lord, I think I'm fine with not seeing the Panthers again this season.
Yeah, I think we're okay with that.
I don't need to see them again.
No more Bob revenge games, please.
4 goals in those 2 games. Patrick Laine, I think it's pretty simple that he's the guy most deserving of it. He's played very well this season. It's been a big bounce back year for him.
Well, because he's, the injuries don't help. Losing his dad doesn't help. But I mean, in the time that he's been around, he's been lights out.
He has. I mean, the fact that he's played in 24 games, he's got 21 points. He's missed significant time. He's still 6th on the team in points. The guys ahead of him are Werenski, Nyquist, Bjorkstrand, Voracek, and obviously first is Boone Jenner with 30.
Can we talk about Boone in a second? Because, like, oh my God. Of
course. We also should be talking about Gus Nyquist being 4th.
Well, funny you mentioned that. He's my Kepi. Because literally it was like Gus and Patty were the 2 that I was going back and forth on. And I knew that, like, just based off the fact that those 2 have been the best players just production-wise over the last 2 games.
That I was going to pick one of them, so you just picked the other.
Yeah, pretty much.
They both deserve the credit for it. They played unbelievably well. Gus Nyquist had a slow start this season. He's been great the last month.
Well, yeah, and we've talked about this. We talked about this the last time you gave him a Kepi was, like he leads the team in shorthanded points, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like after not playing at all in the 56 game season, coming back like this, the goose is loose and we're loving it.
Yeah. So I didn't look it up. I'm pretty sure, just in my memory, I'm pretty sure we have 7 shorthanded goals this season, and he's got 4 of them. because he scores because he had like 4 of 6, and then Robbie had the shorthanded goal the other night against Montreal.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm fairly certain that's accurate. But regardless, he's been unbelievable. He's got 4 shorthanded goals this
Corralli's
season,
got
25
one, I'm
points.
pretty sure.
Yeah. So like, this is a guy who's playing well at 5-on-5 and playing well shorthanded. And
Yeah. What more could you ask from a guy like Gus Nyquist? He's one of those players that is like, when he is on, he's one of the best players in the league.
Very underrated, yeah, because he's not an elite player, but God, I mean, we all remember just his. I don't want to say he's out of his prime, but just his prime specifically in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
He was such a fun player, top 6 guy. I mean, he had that one absurd goal against the Lightning where he was like hooked and like he just banked it off of Ben Bishop, and then they traded him to San Jose in their playoff run where they went to the Western Conference Finals before losing to the Blues.
Hand pass.
And then he signs here in the offseason. Now he's got the rest of this season and next year. I think he's a guy that we have to determine what we want to do with. I wouldn't mind keeping him.
I would like to keep him because I think we all have grown to like him, not just as a player, but as a leader. I mean, no wonder he got an A this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But at the same time, because he's going to have term, as in he's signed under contract next year, he's playing the way he is someone I think you do need to look at in terms of trading, because you need to just see what you can get for him.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we can discuss, like, we don't really need to recap the games. Game against Montreal, you had to win. You just kind of had to. No, if you lost that, then it's like...
The Blue Jackets aren't great, but they're significantly better than Montreal. They showed it. They used their speed and skill. If they put 6 in, and that was that.
Yeah. And then Florida is just in a whole nother league this year, which we already saw that from the 9-2 drubbing. And the two of us were just hoping, please don't show that again.
And they kind of did. And you know what it is it's the familiarity, isn't it? The Bill Zito was the assistant GM of the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
He's now the general manager of the Panthers. He's built that team up in such a short amount of time. And everything the Panthers do well are the Jackets' weaknesses. This is a team that struggles against teams with speed and skill.
Yeah, I mean,
defensively,
yeah. You said it, like, he learned plenty from Yarmo, and he used that to his advantage when getting players, especially this offseason.
Mm-hmm. And not just this past offseason, but players that they got the previous year throughout the course of the season. I think we talked about Sam Bennett.
We talked about Sam Reinhart a little bit. Like, he's been on a tear.
Reinhart was unbelievable in the game against the Blue Jackets.
Duke is a destroyer of worlds against Columbus anymore. Like,
yeah. And Duke's having an unbelievable year. How about that extension they gave him? He is so undervalued for what he's
worth
paid.
it.
Yeah,
it's so worth it.
More than worth it. He should be paid more than what he's being paid, but they're doing such a good job down there. It's one of those moments where you're looking at a guy like Bill Zito, and I'm like, I'm proud of him, but at the same time, I'm like, oh man,
it's like, man,
wish you're still here.
I know. Like, how much do you want to bet he's going to get votes for GM of the year this year?
He should win it.
He should absolutely win it this year.
Votes aren't enough. He should get the amount of votes it takes to win.
Yeah. So yeah, games.
They beat a bad team. They lost to a really good team.
Pretty much.
I can live with that.
Trade deadline's coming up in like a month.
Mm-hmm.
Little month and a half.
Yeah.
Do you want to wait a little bit to speculate on that?
We can we'll wait until let's say the next show to do it, because we can do like a whole segment on players that could be traded.
Right.
And we already know like who.
And we've talked about some that we want to keep. We talked about some that
because we talked about Domi and Nyquist, but we
talk about Corpy all the time.
I mean, I'm not sure what you can get for him at this point, but
right. But still, like, we talk about his trade value and like getting rid of him and what you can try to do. But yeah, next show we can dedicate more time to that.
Yeah.
But right now we need to switch gears a lot because I hate to keep bringing this up whenever something happens, but I mean, we got to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
The Blackhawks held a town hall meeting just the other day, and Rocky Wirtz had some things to say that he really shouldn't have said.
Here's what's tough about it.
Well, let's preface this. So Mark Lazarus, who is one of the best reporters Chicago has. Love
one of the most
Laz
respected in the business.
I love Laz a ton. And you know this. And Laz and Scott Powers are two of the best that they have. Lazarus asks a question about, what are you as an organization going to do to change things surrounding, the investigation and helping out players in the future? And what's the culture change going to look like? Which is a legitimate question. It's why this town hall meeting was held.
Yeah.
Partially that and partially the GM search, which we're not really going to touch on the GM stuff yet. Because it's more about what Rocky said, right?
Here's how I feel about it, Jake, because I sat here just pissed.
Yeah. I was
pissed about it. I couldn't believe he said it. But in a way, I'm glad he said it. And you want to know why I'm glad he said it?
Why?
Because he showed his true colors.
Yes.
We as people deserve to see it.
If we're
if people deserve to see how he felt.
Which I don't want to blow up because I've blown up plenty over all of this already. It's just, God, as a person that still cheers for the Blackhawks as just a hockey team, I can't cheer for them as an organization anymore.
No.
And this shows why. Because for one thing, Danny should have been doing more of the talking.
And here's what I'll say about Danny that I will give him credit for. He had the appearance, and it looked like he was trying to stop it.
Yes.
So at least what I've gotten from Danny, and I don't know how he feels about it because he hasn't had one of these moments. He could have the same opinions as Rocky, but
Rocky
he's
was
at least smart enough to not be a dumbass about it and blow up like that. But or who knows? Maybe he does take it seriously. I don't know. But
y'all can go and look at the footage yourselves. Obviously, we can't play it. But it's like it boils down to what Rocky said was, we're not going to talk about 2010. We're not going to talk about Kyle Beach.
Yeah.
That's almost verbatim what he said.
It was just pure frustration boiling over, talking about it. It's one of the worst looks I've seen in a while. And crazy in a sport that's given us nothing but bad looks. We talk about this shit like every freaking podcast, dog.
Pretty much. There's always something.
There's always something that comes up.
Whether it's, the Blackhawks stuff, whether it's Eichel stuff,
whether it's
a racial
Boko.
thing.
Yeah, there's something else in this sport, isn't it? Every day.
Every friggin' day. I mean, we can talk about this later with the All-Star stuff, but I saw stuff with Zegras that people are boiling over about, which really isn't that big a deal. And again, we'll get to that when we get to All-Star shit. But it's really just like, really? You're holding this town hall meeting to discuss your culture of your organization, and you say that you're not going to talk about the biggest story as to why this culture needs to change in your organization.
I had a tweet the other day, and I don't know if you saw it, but it was something amongst the lines of like, man, I used to think that like being a ref was the toughest job in the National Hockey League. And then I remembered that being a PR manager for the Blackhawks exists.
Yes, I saw another tweet that was like the job posting from hell, and it's
Yes,
a PR rep for the Blackhawks.
Good Lord. Do they have a PR manager?
I don't know if they have a manager. They have people.
Fire them.
Yeah.
I mean that in the nicest way possible, because clearly they're not doing a good enough job. Either fire them or maybe start using them, because it's either that they suck at their job or
Either
you're just
you
not
start
using them.
using them or you set them free, because they don't want to show up to work to deal with this shit.
They shouldn't have to deal with it. It should be common knowledge. I can't believe that we have to talk about this.
Did he not sound childish?
You said, yeah, that's how it was a perfect way to, it was a tantrum.
It was an absolute temper tantrum.
It was a grown man tantrum on stage. Because he was tired of talking about abuse that a player suffered under your watch.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how long ago this was.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter how long this process has been going. I know it's been going on for a while, and it's been all that people have been talking about. You got to talk about it, dog. I'm sorry.
It needs to be addressed because the change needs to be made. And
I love what.
How many times have we said it starts at the top?
It does start at the top. I will say I love what Gretzky said about it.
And the fact that Gary Bettman doubled down on what Rocky said and didn't even address the fact that Wayne said a damn thing.
Jake, I didn't have a reaction to him doing that. That's how bad it is with this guy. He said that stuff and everybody was outraged about it, and I just felt numb. I was like, it's what I expected.
That's just Gary.
Did you expect Gary Bettman to actually come out and have some clean statement about it? No. We were all waiting to see what dumbass shit Gary was going to come out with, and when he came out with it, I was like, all right, that's what it is.
It sounds like Gary Bettman.
We know that he has to go. He's unfit to run this league.
Gary's unfit to run this league. Rocky is absolutely unfit to run the Blackhawks, which he's right now, he's just like, he's more or less just chairman, even though he has multiple titles. It's Danny's team. Why was Danny Wirtz not saying the word?
Danny needs to make an executive decision and cut out his father as far as role is concerned.
Yes. Which again, it was the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was the Rocky Horror Town Hall.
Yeah.
Why was Danny not saying anything other than his dad just cutting him off?
I have no idea. I don't know why he felt the need to speak so much. Especially if the role in mind is to have your son be the face of it.
Right.
You know?
What more is there to say other than it's just, God, this is so hard as a fan of this team.
It's hard as a fan of this league, man.
It's a hard, it's hard. How many times have we said it's a daily decision to be a fan of the National Hockey League?
It is. It is a daily decision you make.
I've said it, like I've attributed it to Robert Malloy for coming up with that. Like, thank you for giving us that phrase, Rob, because like, wow, you hit the nail on the head. Just,
I will say, in the midst of all chaos, you usually have heroes emerge, whatnot. As we talk about something that's incredibly uncomfortable, as we talk about something that's absurdly unfortunate, as we talk about something that's very depressing, we do need to, and we said it at the top, but we'll say it again, just the sheer respect we have for Rick Westhead, Katie Strang, Mark Lazarus,
Scott Powers,
everybody who refuses to let this go. It shouldn't be. They're the people who continue to dive into it.
Yeah,
They're the best for that.
absolutely. They've been rock stars since the beginning of this, and we give them full credit for not letting this die. Which, as much as we hate talking about it, as much as they probably hate reporting on it,
we have to talk about it.
We have to. It's
change needs to happen.
Yes,
and we need to keep pushing until it happens.
Keep talking about it. Keep acting on it.
Yeah.
The players need to do more. Like, again, the fact that Alex DeBrincat has been the most mature over all of this.
And it's like, it's not like I don't want to say his opinion doesn't matter, but he wasn't a part of that team.
Right.
I don't think he should bear any responsibility talking about something that he wasn't at all involved with. And it's not lost on me that the players who were a part of that team
don't care.
God, have any of them acted in good faith? Nick Boyle did.
I mean, well, yeah. Nick and Sokol.
Yeah, those are the two. But it's like Taves and Kane. I mean, Kane had no credibility to begin with, and he hasn't helped that. But Taves is a major disappointment. Duncan Keith's an absurd disappointment.
Yeah. I don't remember hearing much from Seabrook.
We haven't heard much from Seabrook. He's had the advantage of being able to just kind of disappear because he's not playing anymore.
Right. Which I would love to hear from Seabrook, at least to just know what he has to say and then formulate my thoughts on it.
Exactly. He's a part of that too.
Yeah.
Patrick Sharp. I'd love to hear more from him.
Oh my God. Patty, Sharp, and Hossa, because they're both involved in the GM search right now. Did you know that?
Yeah. Nicholas Hjalmarsson was a part of that team.
Schmaltz.
Andrew Ladd's still playing.
Shaw, as much as, Shaw has his own issues.
I'm not hearing from Andrew Shaw.
I mean, I want to hear from as many players around that team as possible. Dave Boland.
Dustin Byfuglien.
Byfuglien, absolutely. I want to hear from as many as possible just to be able to know where they stand on it.
And eager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just...
Now that we know where they stand at the top, we know where to direct our anger and our disappointment, I guess. Like, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And okay, so last thing on this, especially with Gary's statement, right? With Gary's statement, it sounded like they put it on Kyle Beach. This is this is not on Kyle Beach. This is on Brad Aldrich.
Yeah.
It's not Kyle's fault.
No, it's not Kyle's fault at all. What the hell is he supposed to do?
Beats me.
I mean, it's Aldrich first, but it's the team that employed him.
Yeah.
It's the team that didn't listen to Kyle. The other guy, Vincent.
Paul Vincent, yes.
Paul Vincent came forward. And it's like he got punished within the organization for doing it.
Paul and Kyle are the only two out of this whole thing that deserve any credibility.
Yeah.
Like,
I can name 4 people from the Blackhawks organization from that year that have credibility with me. Kyle Beach, Paul Vincent, and then Nick Boynton and Brent Sopel.
There you go.
I don't know who else has credibility in that organization.
You don't even need to know because they don't. None of them do. As far as we're aware, none of them that put their names on the record do.
Yeah. It's just disappointing because, God, I think back to like just being. It's around the time I became a hockey fan.
Right.
Flyers Blackhawks was the first Stanley Cup final I ever watched.
And it was a great series.
It was a great
It was just
series.
like looking at highlights, it was a fantastic series.
The first fucking Stanley Cup final I ever watched was ended in overtime. One of the most significant moments in playoff history. Patrick Kane scoring the goal.
A huge drought ending.
We didn't know that it was a goal, and we're looking, and it's like, oh my god, where is it? Oh my god, it's in the net. Oh my god, they just.
You can see the like soccer wall of the coaching staff, like.
Yeah, they're all celebrating. Nobody knows what's going on. They end the drought, and it's like that memory's tainted. I'm not a Blackhawks fan, but it's still a memory. It's the first one that I ever watched. That's tainted for me forever.
Yeah, it's just stained.
Next memory I have after that is like the Boston Bruins winning the cup. Great.
And then what? 2012 was like what?
That was LA versus New Jersey.
And that was when the Final Four was the past four cup winners. Like, how crazy is that?
Was it?
Maybe I'm thinking because 2009 was Pittsburgh, 2010 was Chicago.
2013.
Maybe I'm thinking 13.
2013 had
I'm thinking
Pittsburgh.
13 because it was
because 13 was Pittsburgh versus Boston, and then it was LA versus Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
Yeah.
I was a year off.
Yeah, this is still yeah, it's like
the storylines around the teams that make it are crazy and awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get stuff like this that comes out, and it's just like, now what?
I don't know. I love what Wayne Gretzky said because it's how it's how I feel.
It's literally the most genuine thing.
The Blackhawks.
Yeah, you can't anymore. Like, how disappointing must it be to be Alyssa in this right now? Like,
yeah.
Because I know she's one of our big friends who's
I'll tell you this. Like my buddy, my one roommate, Bryant, and I'm not going to reveal the guy's name, but this guy, the specific guy I'm talking about, writes for a relatively big company, covers the Blackhawks. Been a Blackhawks fan his entire life. Grew up in Rochester, but was a big Blackhawks fan his entire life. Has been covering them for years. Wrote articles about them when he was like 10, just like preparing for it, like giving himself that practice and stuff like that before he like got into it because he always wanted to be a writer. He's not a Blackhawks fan anymore.
And you said
by everything that he can't. He still covers the team, but he's looking for a new team to cover because he just doesn't want anything to do with that organization anymore.
And I applaud him for it.
I applaud him too for it, but at the same time, I'm saddened for him because I knew how big of a fan he was, and just I couldn't imagine having to go through this with a team because it's you spend your whole life rooting for them, and then it's not just rooting for them your entire life.
It's growing up around them.
It would be a hell of a lot easier for us to relinquish fandom for the Columbus Blue Jackets if something like this happened. And the reason is because we haven't had that success. Imagine in 2030, after all the pain that we've gone through year by year, the failures in the playoffs and stuff like that. Imagine they win the Stanley Cup in 2030. And then they win it again in 2033 and then 2035. And then by 2042, it comes out that this shit happens.
Right.
Wouldn't you be fucking heartbroken?
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't even talked to my aunt about this, and she's the one that wants to take me to Chicago for a Blackhawks game. She's the one that introduced me to this team. I haven't talked to her about this because I just don't. I want to know how she feels about it, but at the same time, it's like I'm sick and tired of talking about it.
Yeah,
Rocky's got to go.
he does. I don't see. There's no plausible reason that he should be in any capacity with the organization by
Right.
Monday.
He still will. I
He
have a
still
feeling
will.
he still will.
He still will. I'm not doubting that he's going to still be with the team. I'd imagine by the start of next season, he is still going to be there.
Mhm.
But the issue now is we need players to take matters into their own hands. We need players within the organization to speak up.
Yes.
It's probably not going to happen, Jake. But the only way that
There's only been one. There's only been one, and that was Alex.
the only way
Well-
this gets fixed is having some players come forward and just be like, we can't deal with this anymore. Something needs to change, or else I want out.
Yeah. Pretty much. That's it. That's really it. Change needs to be made, and we say that every show with every controversial topic we have.
Yeah.
Because it's just the truth. Couple of Penguins things really quick. Our buddy Jake Guentzel, the fastest from the 2013 draft to 300 points in 338 games.
Unbelievable player. I mean,
He's one of our favorite Penguins for a reason. Like,
yeah, even though he tortures us every time we play him. Just because he's a fun guy to watch. He's a good player. I'm not surprised by it at all.
I mean, he loves playing with Sid,
player.
and Sid loves playing with Jake.
Yeah,
Like, those two are just magical together.
man, it's crazy. I think a lot of times for certain players, it's playing with Sidney Crosby. Everybody thinks like, oh yeah, the production increases. You're just playing with Crosby, yada yada yada. And it's true. I mean, of course, your production
it's Sidney
increases when
Crosby.
you play with
Yeah.
Crosby, but so many times we look at players and we're just like, they're only doing that because they're with Crosby, and then they play with them so long, they improve their games,
Mhm.
and they don't play on a line with Crosby, and they just continue to be good. We saw
Right.
it. We've seen it with Jake Guentzel. We see it with Brian Rust. We saw it for a while with Pascal Dupuis.
We did see it with Dupuis for a while. That was fun.
Yeah, and I think
We saw it with Hornquist. I mean,
Hornquist, but he was a good player beforehand. But
right.
Who else we're kind of seeing it with now is Evan Rodriguez.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, it's funny because like Evan, wasn't he their first line guy when like literally all three of Sid and Gino and Jeff were out?
And Jeff Carter were out,
All three of them were out. So Evan Rodriguez was their first line center.
And people were making memes and jokes like, "Oh, first line center Evan Rodriguez," and no, Evan
and
Rodriguez
he was good.
Purely like a very good player this year for him. So I mean, good for him. I mean, his path to the league has been incredibly interesting. This is a guy who's had to work for it. Total late bloomer, wasn't even drafted. He's a fun story.
Buffalo dude.
Yeah, I mean, talking about paying your dues, man. This guy had to play on the Sabres.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he plays his
he played on the Jack Eichel Sabres, which was fun.
Played on the Jack Eichel Terriers. He was at BU his whole career, and he was a solid guy. But then Jack Eichel comes along, he plays on a line with him. He has a career year, so this guy doesn't get drafted. Jack Eichel goes second overall. So where are you gonna go? Well, the Sabres come calling. That's this team that Jack Eichel just went to. So why wouldn't you go there?
Yeah, why wouldn't you follow the lead?
And it's fun that Jack Eichel, he ends up becoming a Golden Knight.
Rodriguez turns into a Penguin.
Pittsburgh, then there was the trade to Toronto while he was a UFA, and he didn't sign there. He just went back.
Oh, like the Jared McCann thing.
Yeah, he's been kind of like all over the place the last couple of years, but he decided, no, I'm staying in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's going to be where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's
stunner, Jake, stunner. The Pittsburgh Penguins are finding a way to get the most out of a player.
Right.
It's almost like that's what winning organizations do.
It's almost like what Evander Kane should have done.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about Kane today.
That's another can of worms.
Yeah. The other Penguins thing I wanted to mention was Sid's about at 500 goals, which I mean expected, but like, whoa.
It's an incredible milestone, but it's almost like, man, I thought he was going to have way more than that just because it's Sid, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
He-
It's
he-
like
he-
it's like Ovi chasing after Gretzky now. It's like, oh, just tick this guy off the list now.
So, looking at Erod real
Mhm.
quick. The 1920 season, his percentile rank for WAR,
Mhm.
30. It's just a diagonal line, 35%. Then last year, 62%. This year, funny enough, 87%.
I like that.
Yeah. He's been unbelievable, man. I mean, it just he's underrated defensively too. He's been very good defensively.
Oh yeah. They
His
got Jeff Carter
defensive-
playing on the wings with Gino now that he's back, and it's
His defensive rank this year.
Evan's doing his thing. Yeah.
He's in the 90th percentile this year defensively, and then offensively he's in the 96th percentile.
What?
And here's the thing, man. He's on a 1-year deal.
Oh, he's
That guy is about to be paid.
He gonna cash in. Woo.
I wonder what the Penguins do. I mean, because they have a lot of things that they have to focus on this offseason. Obviously, Letang's a free agent.
Gino.
Brian Rust is a free agent. Gino's a free agent. I wonder what they do. Because part of me is like,
Well, because they took care of
it's
Carter
unbelievably
already.
hard to imagine that they're going to let either Letang or Malkin walk. But it's
No,
at the
they're
same
Penguin
time-
lifers. There's no way in hell they let them walk.
At the
Unless-
same time, it's like you don't want Brian Rust to walk because he's unbelievable. You don't want
Right.
Evan Rodriguez. So I almost wonder if they try to maybe make some sort of trade in order to free up some cap so they can keep those 4 guys. Like I know they like Mike Matheson on defense. I wonder if they maybe make a move with him because he's got a larger contract on the team.
I'll take Teddy.
I'll take him too. He doesn't free up a ton of money, but you know what? I mean, if they're offering him for free, I'll take him.
Yeah, hey. Yeah, I mean, you guys know Teddy's our guy. And all of you know that Teddy Bluger's our guy.
Yeah, I mean, this is, Teddy is fun because it's like you look at his offense and defense in terms of like the charts, and it's like defense is all the way up here and offense is like all the way down here. But it's like, I don't care. Like, offense, he's in the 15th percentile this year, but defense, he's in the 70th percentile. And throughout the last 3 years combined, he's got up to 81% on defense. So I will take a guy who's as proficient defensively as him, especially on a team that struggles defensively.
Yeah, I saw that they're 32nd out of 32 this morning.
Yeah.
And it's bad.
Not to mention the PK, he's 91% on PK. So there's a reason I like Teddy Bluger.
Yes, I mean, despite the name, like other than the name and the memes.
Yeah.
Where's he from again?
I believe, and you will correct me if I am wrong, he is from Riga, Latvia.
I believe you're correct. We love that so much. That's our favorite thing.
I'm sad. This is where like I get sad for the Olympics because it's like how awesome would it see him and Elvis bailing it out
Just
there for
going
Team West.
crazy out there. Yeah. Imagine, okay, this is kind of sad, but like imagine tributes from the Latvian team to Matisse.
Yeah, they would have too.
They would have. Like just as a side thing, like just imagine that.
It would have been sad. Would have been very sad.
It would have been nice.
Would have been a beautiful moment too.
Yes. Absolutely. The All-Star game is this weekend, and the skills comp was yesterday, and it was fun, at least from the highlights.
I didn't get the chance to see any of it.
I was working.
Game, so
Yeah, I was working. I watched a few of the Sportsnet videos of some of the events.
The
when I
only
got up this
thing
morning.
I saw was Trevor Zegras' shootout thing.
We're going to talk about that one last.
Okay.
The first one I want to mention, the two new like outdoor Vegas specific events were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The 21 and 22, the blackjack,
Yes.
was fucking crazy. It was Austin Matthews, Steven Stamkos, Joe Pavelski, Nazem Kadri, and Brady Tkachuk.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny because like Brady and Austin didn't look like they wanted to be there. Nas was having a blast, and then Pavs and Stammer were just like, "Yeah, cool. It's cold."
Yeah, I don't know about you. I've always gotten the feeling that players don't really like All-Star Game weekend because it's
because
there's a reason Ovi never goes.
it's because they market it as a thing where players can show their personality, but they never get the chance to.
They never do it. Players, I just genuinely think that players don't give a shit about showing personality in this league. I think they just wanted a fucking vacation.
I mean, it's Vegas. What a better place, right?
I guess, but at the same time, you still got shit that you got to do. You don't even get to relax during All-Star Game weekend. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they'd rather just like they're doing Florida next year. I'm sure they'd love to just go down to Florida and have be like a week long where it's like, yeah, you got the All-Star Game and the skills competition for 2 days, and maybe like
the rest of the time just chill at the beach,
stuff and cool like that. But like 4 days to chill on the beach and do stuff that way. I'm sure that the players would approve that.
Right. So they get to still do their all-star thing, but then at the same time, they get a little bit more time off.
Yeah.
Pavs won the 21 and 22 because Stamkos missed his last shot.
Wow. Scrub. LOL.
It was
like the fifth best player on the Lightning.
Right. The best part was Pavelski called 2 of his shots and just nailed them. It was hilarious. It was awesome.
I saw someone has like a hilarious tweet about Joe Pavelski because it's like sometimes we do this with athletes where like we talk about their age and it's like they kept like mentioning that he was 37 years old, and it's like at what point do we just like maybe chill it a little bit because 37 is not that old, and they're talking like this guy was a dinosaur who like we're stunned that he can still walk. Talking
about like he's Yager, like but just can't play.
Yeah, it's like no, like there's a lot of players who are still pretty good at 37. I mean, Jeff Carter just got a fucking extension.
Jeff Carter just got an extension.
Multi-year extension, I might add.
Patrice is about there.
Yeah,
he's friggin' phenomenal still. Yeah, it's like, come on, why are we talking about Joe Pavelski like he's washed, and you still watch him on the Stars and he's pulling off awesome shit?
Yeah,
even though the Stars aren't.
Yeah.
Brady really sounded like he didn't want to be there.
I'm not surprised. He doesn't come off as the kind of guy who would enjoy it.
The second outdoor thing, the 21 and 22 was on the Strip, which was cool. And then the what did they call it? The fountain face-off at the Bellagio.
That Werenski won. Did you see his quote about it?
I heard his quote about it because remember I watched it.
Do you practice this a lot? No, I'm not usually out on the Bellagio fountain shooting pucks.
I thought it was weird because I forgot, like halfway through watching it, I forgot the format was like the last 2 dudes were gonna actually just compete for time. Because I was like, wait a minute, is he second? What happened? And then him and Yossi, did their thing. And poor Roman Yossi with the malfunctioning on the pucks, like I get that he was having trouble with some of the longer targets in the end, but at the same time, he had a couple of malfunctions with his glowing pucks, with his tracking pucks.
Right.
Which I thought those were cool.
Yeah, they look cool.
Like those were the only time that I will accept a goal in puck is when it's something like Vegas.
Right. Do you know what it kind of reminded me of? And I don't know why it reminded me of it. Like, just like, because I didn't watch it, like the whole thing, but I saw like some of the visuals and stuff like that. When I saw Werenski's one and I saw the puck and like the glow and stuff like that, it reminded me of that stupid, ridiculous ass like puck tracker thing from the 90s.
That's what I'm
Like,
talking about. That's the only time I'll accept a glowing puck.
yeah. It reminded me of that, like, just I remember that was so ridiculous.
I mean, we weren't around for that, but like just watching what it was like, it was just like, ugh.
I saw videos of it from like Twitter. I think it was Dmitry Filipovic tweeted something about
Probably
it, like, how
Filipovic, yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah, and I remember watching the whole video, being like, I can't believe that this was a thing.
Right.
But it's the most NHL thing ever that it was.
It was awesome to see our guy win his event for sure.
Yeah.
Quotes from it were fantastic. Derek Anglin was awesome as an announcer for it.
I did not see that. I didn't know that Derek Anglin was there.
Derek Anglin and Jerry D were the announcers for the 2 outdoor events.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I wonder what he's up to.
Just living in Vegas, dude.
That's pretty sick.
I mean, he lives there. Imagine that just being your life.
Just, yeah, you're just living in Vegas, just chilling, dealing with hockey. Like, that'd be sick, man.
Claude Giroux and Jordan Eberle had some funny quotes out of that one, where they were asking, like, how you doing, Claude? And he was like, cold. And then there was like, they were asking Eberle, new city, new team, what's it like? And he was just like, it's new.
I love that from him.
Like, what else are you gonna say? I feel like, the personality thing, they try, but the announcers try a little too hard, and then the players just don't know how to respond.
Generally speaking, that happens very often with this league. Because these guys, it's like they're robots. They don't know how to show their freaking personality.
I mean, Austin does it through other means with like, they try to do it with the relaxed dress code thing. They try to do it with the way they do endorsements now.
Yeah.
With showing up at other events. Like, I mean, I read a thing on The Athletic about players showing personality, and it's like Austin's leading the way with that, with, his friendship with Justin Bieber and going to events like that and his clothing lines and everything like that. Being in the market that he's in definitely helps, but it's like, part of the players want to do it and older players don't really care as much.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I didn't watch the accuracy shooting. I believe the only other one I watched was the breakaway challenge, which Zegras should have won.
Yeah.
But I was talking about this with someone on Twitter who's, I can't remember if she's a Ducks fan or a Vegas fan, one of the two. But I think she's a Ducks fan. Saying like, Petros was pretty weak.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess one of the events had to have a hometown player, like a host player, win something.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think, what was the one that was like controversial in Columbus? Because you're always going to have like one like home player win. I remember 2015. I think it was Rijo won.
Was it Ryan winning the breakaway challenge?
I think it may have been that.
Because I remember Nick did something, but I don't remember.
I think it was definitely. I know it was Rijo winning something. It was probably the breakaway challenge in Columbus. He won.
It was because Joey was in the breakaway challenge. Remember with the
Rijo,
Ohio State jersey and
and then he brought the kid out, and then
it was really cute.
Who was it? Was it Claude Giroux who brought out Johnny Gaudreau to be like the big little kid? That was hilarious.
That was really funny.
That was a good one. But yeah, I'm pretty sure won the breakaway challenge, and some people were pissed about it. And I was just like, come on, he had a good performance, and he's the hometown guy, so it's like,
Right.
What did you?
Well, it's like Todd Frazier winning the home run derby in Cincinnati, right?
I was not aware that was a thing.
In 2015.
Did not know that he did that.
When he was a Red?
Frazier. I love Todd Frazier because it's like the last like 4 years, it's every year it seems like he's just like, all right, back to New York. He's either going to the Yankees or the Mets.
I do love me some Todd Father though, because he's just the man.
That's such a great nickname.
Todd Father, yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Zegras should have won just based off of the Peter LaFleur thing alone.
But yeah, it's just the moves that he made, like while blindfolded, and then they threw the dodgeball,
and the mascot's going out there throwing at. Yeah,
It's the creativity
so
of it. Yeah. Not even just the move that he made; it's the creativity of it. I love.
Well, I thought Jax was really creative. Carril's was really creative. The homage to Ovi for Ovi not being there was really fun and nice. Mm-hmm. The magic trick, quote unquote, that Jack did was really cool.
Yeah.
Having Terry Fader as one of the celebrity judges was perfect to me, just because I like Terry Fader as a ventriloquist. Yeah. I thought it was great. But yeah, Zegras should have won that breakaway challenge. Just like we should be giving him more credit for actually scoring the Michigan at full speed. Mm-hmm. Transition.
He's unbelievable.
He's so good. Okay, last thing on the actual like all-star thing. Him drinking underage that everybody's going nuts about. He's got a month left. Who cares?
Of what?
Him drinking at 20 years old in Vegas.
Who gives a shit?
When he's got a month left until he actually turns 21. Who fucking cares?
People are actually outraged by that?
Yes, at least like there's Twitter outrage because there's always Twitter outrage about something.
I think we have bigger fish to fry at this moment of time, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. The whole Torts thing.
The least of hockey's concern is a kid drinking at 20 years old, and we all drank when we were like 18 in college. Let's grow the fuck up here.
Yeah, exactly. Tortorella doubling down on the whole Michigan thing.
You know, I gotta tell you, man, I
love Torts, but it's like,
no, I love it from him. You want to know why?
Why?
Because he can't help but be Torts.
Fair enough.
He just can't help it. And you know, I don't know why. I appreciate having someone on the outside with a wrong opinion like that. It's just funny to me. Like him having that opinion, I'm just like, yeah, Torts, you're wrong, but go off, King.
But because we love John Tortorella.
Of course. And everybody who hates him is having a field day with it. Like, look at this idiot.
And we're over here like, we understand why he says what he says.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
it's not his game.
Yeah. And we're over here just like, we love John Tortorella. We love Trevor Zegras. What Trevor did was really, really good for the game.
Yeah.
Because again, it's not like he was doing the Svechnikov or the Forsberg where he was standing there just, whatever. He did this on the rush, full speed.
Yes. Which I don't know if have we seen anybody do it fully on the rush in the NHL like that?
Forsberg kind of did it when he did his, but I believe he did slow down a bit.
Yeah, the way he did it, I was stunned.
Yeah. And it's not like the dish again wasn't enough. The pass over to Sonny wasn't enough for him.
Yeah. He's so creative. And at the end of the day, man,
creativity like this is so good in the game.
The opinion that I'm a little stunned that he doesn't have, that he should have, though, and this goes out to any team that's playing Trevor Zegras or Andrei Svechnikov or any of these players who have started to master this skill.
Yeah.
Is you just got to defend it. It is as simple as do not give them time or space.
Right.
Do not let them get any time or space with the puck behind the net.
Right.
That's how you defend it.
It's like that's at least putting it in the simplest coaching terms.
Mm-hmm. And these are it's a smart play.
It's
If
a
you can
very
get a
smart.
goal like that, why wouldn't you do it? And,
Right.
and not only that, but even if you can't get a goal out of it, now teams have to defend you this way.
And it takes
Which
skill to
if
do
they
that.
have to defend
Like
you that much harder behind the net, you're going to have more options out in front.
lacrosse is one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doing it on ice skates in a hockey game,
Yeah.
pulling off a move like that is mind-blowing still.
Yeah.
Like to this day, I know people were doing it 15, 20 years ago. That's why the Michigan exists.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like,
there's a reason it's got that nickname,
yeah.
So, but I don't know. I love it.
I love it. It's so good for the game. And
here's
you know what makes it better?
What?
And this will transition into our next guy. Kids are doing it.
Yeah. What else? I know you're going to get to, but real quick, these teams love, and I mean they fucking love, big defensemen.
Yeah.
Teams cannot stop giving out hilarious contracts to guys like Tyler Myers. They can't stop giving hilarious amounts of draft picks to get guys like Rasmus Ristolainen. Okay, here's
Jamie
the way
Alexiak, who's actually a good big defenseman.
Right, but here's how you can use one of these guys. If you want some value out of them, all it takes is just one time. If you really truly want to defend it,
right?
Just absolutely clock him. Just absolutely clock him if he tries to pull that move.
Right.
See if he's gonna pull that move in that game again. He's not. That's all you gotta do. Like you be physical on these guys. These guys, they're soft skill players in the NHL. That's what Trevor Zegras is. There's nothing wrong with it. But that's how you have to defend against a soft skill players. You have to be physical against them.
Right.
If you want to stop these players from doing it, you need to make sure that they pay a price when they do it.
Right.
I don't know why it's such a hard pressed issue.
It's like, do we want?
I have no issue with you doing it, and I have no issue with the guy clocking you if you try it. It's fair game.
We're going to see it more often.
As long as the hit is clean.
Right. We're going to see moves like this more often. We're probably not going to end up seeing it like like a circus act, like some of these people are saying, unless. Teams have to adjust, like you're saying. They need to be more physical. They need to figure out a way to defend against this.
I would like to see Trevor Zegras do in a shootout
what he did in the dodgeball thing. Oh, what Connor did or Cooper did?
Yeah.
So the story, okay. Cooper Dennie is this 10-year-old kid from Columbus.
Yes, and the Blue Jackets, like a lot of teams in the National Hockey League, they'll do like shootouts for kids in between periods, like before they like clean off the ice and have the Zambonis come out.
Do it in the ice house next door.
Yeah, they have they keep the nets out there, and they let a shootout happen for these kids. Nice, fun, little cute moment. Then they clean off the ice, and then you get to the next period. And you see some fun moments, some cute moments from these kids, and it's fun for them.
I would love to see my little second cousin do one.
Yeah,
it'd be fun to see that.
But
Cooper had been practicing this for a while, and this kid's 10 years old, and he's scooping the puck and 360 spinorama and fires it, like just being able to balance it on your stick for that.
Balances on his stick 360 and just flings it perfectly.
And he did that during one of these intermission games. That was during Columbus and Florida.
Mm-hmm. It was the highlight of the night.
It was amazing.
Game, Florida scored 8 goals against the Blue Jackets again. That was the highlight of the night.
Pretty much. It's just like, oh my God. The fact that kids are doing this. I'm going to say it again. It's good for the game.
It's exciting. Kids want to do it. Kids want to have fun with it, man. If
it-
NHL players can have fun with it, why can't kids?
That's the problem, is NHL players can't have fun with it because fuck with fucking boys club.
Oh, yeah, but luckily we're seeing that trend be ended a bit, which is a good thing for the
Yes,
game.
yes.
Maybe that can continue.
We need good changes like this. We need more fun in this sport. And what Zegras is doing, what Svechnikov's doing, even what Cooper's doing, it's huge.
And it's fun. I want to see more of it. I want it to continue.
Yeah. Absolutely. Where are we on time? I think we're doing fine. When did we start? About
Was it like 12:15?
okay, so we're basically like right at an hour,
Yeah.
I would say. We kind of breezed through this. Wow. I thought we were going to spend more time on some All-Star game stuff or, some of the Rocky
It helps
stuff.
that we
I
didn't
guess.
watch it.
I guess. I mean, I watched it, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
We said last episode that it was breaking that turned out to be more or less false at the time. Tom Brady's retirement. Well, now it's actually official.
Mm-hmm. Not much more could be said.
Not much more could be said, but it's like, yeah, he's absolutely the greatest ever.
This must have been what it felt like to go through Gretzky's retirement. Of like, wow, we are never going to see anybody do it better than this guy.
Right. Another quick retirement, Joe West. But but in regards to Tom Brady, I just kind of wanted to say that. I just kind of wanted to mention that one. In regards to Tom, so there was the whole back and forth with Schefter and the Tom's agent saying, no, this hasn't been officially decided. And they were still thinking about it. And we thought, he was going to play one more year, right?
I thought he was going to play an additional NFL season solely out of spite.
He's Tom fucking Brady. He can't go out not on top.
Yeah. But you know what? He went out on his own terms. And that I'm okay with.
Yeah. His Instagram statement was more or less Tom Brady PR.
Yeah.
As heartfelt as he could make it.
Mm-hmm.
He put out more to the Bucks on his initial statement, which I thought it was interesting that at first his statement didn't mention Belichick or New England at all.
I liked it because I like seeing people. I love seeing Patriots fans cry about it because it's stupid. It's like they're just like, he didn't thank us, and it's like, I think he thanked you with 6 Super Bowls. Now quit your bitching.
But then he did put out another tweet like the next day.
Yeah,
that was strictly for Patriots fans.
Yeah, he kept. That's what I figured he was going to do. Is keep it separate and like do it special for them. But people reactionary and dumb. But while we're on the topic of football, since we didn't get a chance to record on Tuesday,
I am
happy significant happen.
I'm happy we're going to bring this up.
Because if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that one of our teams was going to go to the Super Bowl, I wouldn't have been like, damn, the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl. I would have been like, is Justin Fields going to be that good?
Joey business, baby.
Oh my God. This dude, Joe Burrow, is the coldest man on the planet.
Dude, I fucking love this guy so much. That's my QB, baby.
He's unbelievable. His pocket presence is incredible.
Even without an offensive line.
Yeah.
We talked about it when we talked about the AFC. Yeah. All they need to do is draft 5 linemen, maybe 7, just to actually protect him. And even then, they may not even need that.
Yeah. I mean, and you know what the most we can talk about how great Joe Burrow is and how
We can
unbelievable
talk
he
about
is.
how great
Jamar
Boyd
Chase,
is, Jamar Chase, who's already nominated for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Evan
T.
McPherson
Higgins
has been.
emergence, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. But can we talk for a second about the last 6 games? The defense has been unbelievable for the Bengals.
Eli's been awesome.
They're making plays. They're not an elite defense by any means,
no,
but they make the plays when they need to.
yes,
Jesse Bates is one of the best safeties in the league. Von Bell,
Jesse's getting.
great signing.
Vaughn was fucking phenomenal. That interception that he made in
Yeah.
the championship game to
But
actually just ice it.
is a good corner. Mike Hilton, Logan Wilson.
Eli playing at home.
Yeah, and
It's good to see Eli Apple finally succeeding too. Like, you know,
it's like
he was one of our core Buckeyes, right?
Yeah, we got Eli Apple, you got Von Bell, you got Sam Hubbard.
There's a lot of homegrown kids in there. Joe Burrow,
there's a lot,
McPherson.
and then the signing of the offseason, it's the guy I wanted the Bears to sign if they had the money. It's a guy I would have been okay with the Browns signing too if they could have forked up the money. Was Trey Hendrickson, and he's been amazing for you guys.
Yeah, Trey's been awesome.
It's a guy that a lot of people were like, "Is he a 1-year wonder?" No,
I think he's pretty real deal.
Proven it. He's outstanding. The defense has been great. They're opportunistic. They make the plays when they need to, and Joe Burrow
could win the Heisman, a national championship, and a Super Bowl all within 3 years.
And no quarterback's ever done that ever.
And
he might do that in 3 years. And in those 3 years, he'll have had a torn ACL in there.
Yes. And all he's going to do.
A chunk of time.
And he smokes a cigar after every single fucking win. And just
because he's just the coldest man on the planet.
Did you see his dad and Jamar's dad? The picture with the cigars.
Oh my god, that was awesome. The Bengals, man, they're just such a likable team too.
I love this team.
Yeah, like I
love this team.
You think that being from Cleveland and growing up, I still root for the Browns. That I would be like, man, like I don't want Cincinnati. No, I can't help but root for them.
Well, it's funny because like my mom and my youngest brother, like, they love Patrick Mahomes. They're Browns fans. They were rooting for Kansas City in the championship. But my mom is even saying, Joe's the real fucking deal for show. Like,
he's already a top 5 quarterback in football.
Yes. Like,
and
I'm not just saying that as a biased fan. Like,
no. It's not biased to say that. No, he's the top 5 quarterback. If you were to make a list of quarterbacks, especially now that Brady's retired,
yes,
you'd have Mahomes in there. You have Aaron Rodgers in there, Josh Allen for sure, and then I think you have Joe Burrow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's really nothing else to say other than these guys they're proving everybody wrong, and they're proving and Zach Taylor as a coach, like I had my doubts initially, but he's doing his thing.
He's doing it, yeah, man. And you know what the thing I love about Joe Burrow the most though is he's bucking the narrative that Ohio State quarterbacks don't work in the NFL.
That too. I will. Okay, listen. He's a Tiger, but he is a Buckeye.
He said it himself. He said he'll always be a Buckeye.
And I don't care how much hardcore Buckeyes fans want to just grab him. He's both.
Yeah, he's both. No, I just love making the jokes because I know it pisses people off.
Right. It's just, I love this team so much. It's just
they were supposed to beat the Raiders. They beat them. But they weren't supposed to beat the Titans. They weren't supposed to beat the Chiefs. They're not supposed to beat the Rams. But here's the thing. Every time they're not supposed to win a game, they win it. Joe Burrow's never lost an elimination game in his career.
Literally.
Every big game in his career. I think back to just on the road in Tuscaloosa for LSU against Alabama. It's Joe Burrow versus Tua, before the injury.
Oh, that's right.
good God, that game was unbelievable. Joe Burrow was out of his mind, made plays left and right.
The 60 touchdown man.
And then he goes out and he finds a way. They end up winning the SEC championship game. They beat Oklahoma. And then his biggest test of all in the national championship game, he has to beat Trevor Lawrence, who at that point in his career had never lost a game in his life. Never lost one in high school, never lost one in college, just won a national championship. He beats that Clemson team.
And that was
then I look at
that
this
was just
run
Trevor. That was like, okay, look at them now in the NFL, and it's like Joe's the real deal, and now Trevor knows what it's like to lose.
Yeah, because he had to go to the freaking Jaguars, who were a joke.
To the Urban Jaguars, which Urban would.
Now it's the Doug Peterson Jaguars, so let's see how much of a improvement that is. But
so, just to wrap on the football, I'm super excited for the Super Bowl just as a Bengals fan. This is the first time a team that I cheer for, whether it's hockey, football, baseball, this is the first time any team that I cheer for has gone to a championship.
Well, I mean, you're an OSU fan, right?
I mean, yes, but professional.
So first professional.
Yes.
Let's not take away 2015.
We won't take away 15 or 14. And
do you not watch basketball?
No, I don't.
I was going to say, because I was wondering if you watched the Cavs run in 2016. But
I knew about the Cavs run. I just don't actively watch basketball.
Fair enough.
But it's like, yeah, this is the first time any of the professional teams that I cheer for has made it to a championship. And I'm please, come on, let's rule it all.
Yeah. No, it's fun for me as an outsider because I'm going to enjoy. It's the first time I'm going to enjoy the Super Bowl because, last year I was actively rooting against Patrick Mahomes because I can't stand the Chiefs. It's nothing personal against Mahomes, but I was rooting for Brady.
Right.
And I got what I wanted. And then the year before that, I was rooting for the 49ers and Jimmy G let me down. And then, the years, there's so many years that, you have a team you're rooting for. I'm going into this game. I don't care who wins. Either Joe Burrow is going to win a Super Bowl, and it's going to be the most unbelievable story we've seen in the NFL in quite some time. And he's going to start the official mark of him being one of the greatest quarterbacks ever.
And the changing of the guard.
Or their run falls short, but Matt Stafford
finally getting his moment too is going to be
Detroit, his first year in LA, he wins a Super Bowl. Oh my God, man!
The Rams are just loaded too.
They're loaded, yeah.
Cooper Kupp and friggin' Akers and all of it. There's just so much going on with both of these
Ramsey, Von Miller, Aaron Donald. The only reason I would say to not that I would, the only thing I would have an issue with the Rams
is OBJ.
Is OBJ. But that's another thing.
Yeah, that's something we can have a therapy session about that. I don't care. After.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is going to be probably the most fun I've ever had keeping track of I hope that I don't have to work on Super Bowl Sunday, but I probably will. Call off or swap.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. Your team's in the Super Bowl. Someone's got to swap with you.
I don't know. If I got to work, I got to work. I'll still probably just end up ordering appetizer anyway. Because I work in an Applebee's. Come on.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
What do we got for Tuesday to start?
No, we'll go over the trade deadline stuff.
There's going to be a game on Tuesday as well. So we can preview Washington. Oh, that's right. Because there's the 5 game. This is when the break starts and the sprint starts.
Yeah, it's just hilarious. You're like, oh, there's a game on Tuesday. I'm like, who are we playing? And I'm like, oh, it's a road game against Washington. Ooh.
because of the Olympic break, the sprint officially starts.
Yeah.
Because it's a 5-game road trip and then 2 games at home, like after the Olympic break.
Oof, that's rough. All right. Well, this is the stretch that will determine where they pick.
Yes.
In the draft, because playoffs are completely out of the picture.
Whether they pick middle or they pick low or high. They pick middle or they pick high, and
I never know to say high or low because it's weird to say 1 as high and
exactly
32
right?
is low. You know what I mean? Like
right.
I always get that mixed up, but
it's a weird because it's like, yeah, I get that.
So, but we know what we mean.
We know where we're gonna stand, and I mean, Mark had a couple of fun tweets that we can bring up about the last couple of drafts and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll see y'all Tuesday for some deadline talk, some more whatever the hell else we got going on, and an All-Star recap.
All right, baby. Much love.
Take care.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.